just want to talk to you tonight about a question that most couples ask me when they come to me when they're needing help. Is sex the most important part of a marriage? Now, let me just say this. Sex can be an important part of the marriage, but it is not the only thing that should be at the top of your list. A healthy, fulfilling marriage can be had without having penetration sex, okay? Now, there are many reasons why couples get in spaces where they cannot have penetration sex. It could be a male's erectile dysfunction. It could be cancer. It could be blockages. The women could be having hormone problems. It could be painful sex. It could be perpetual bleeding. It could be a cancer. It could be so many reasons why a couple cannot engage in penetration sex. But let me just tell you that this question has to be answered by the couple. Is sex important to a marriage? Absolutely. But there's different ways to engage in different sex, right? It's not always vagina or penis into vagina. It could be a penis into anal. It could be oral sex. It could be so many different ways you can engage in sex. And some couples have decided that they don't want to have any kind of penetration sex at all, so they only engage in oral. Some couples have decided that that part does not need to be a part of their marriage at all, so they engage in meaningful intimacy, which is a lot of hugging and kissing and heartbeat work, all kind of different ways that they feel connected and engaged, just like people who engage in penetration sex. They feel as connected, if not even more. My thing is, in my marriage, and what I try to teach the couples that come to me, try to have a inclusive type marriage when it comes to sex and intimacy, that you build intimacy outside of the bedroom. You do all of those things, the hand holding, the dating, the hugging, the kissing, the heavy petting, all of those things that lead to amazing sex inside of the bedroom. But I want you guys to know that you can have a meaningful, loving, connected, intimate marriage without penetration sex. You can introduce other things into your marital bed that are just as satisfying without engaging in penetration sex. So the answer to this question for me is, it's all up to you and what makes you feel comfortable as a couple, but you do need to be having these meaningful conversations outside of the bedroom. You need to be telling your spouse what your needs, your wants, and your desires are, what your likes and dislikes are when it comes to sex. But again, just don't stick your head in the sand and think that it's going to go away, because it causes problems when there is one person that's wanting to engage in penetration sex, right? And they're not getting it from the person that they said I do to. And let me just give you a precursor. When you said I do, you signed up to be the only source of sexual pleasure that your spouse said I do to, right? Now, is there infidelity and stuff that happens? Absolutely there are. But when you signed up and you said I do to that person, unless you had a conversation before you said I do and said I do not want to be your sole source of your sexual pleasures, right? Then you signed up for that, right? And a lot of times we get into our marriages and other things happen and then we don't want to engage. That is not fair to the other person if you're not giving them valid reasons why that you are not wanting to engage. If it's a physical problem, you need to have that conversation. If it is something that you're walking in unforgiveness about, you need to have that conversation. Again, you need to be having conversations with your spouse on a regular basis about what is going on with your body, what is going on with you mentally, physically, and spiritually, because they're not mind readers. So again, I just want to say that you can have a fulfilling marriage without having penetration sex, but also incorporating a lot of intimacy, dating, all of those things that make a marriage and bind you guys together. But if you are in a situation where you're withholding sex and it's not for a valid reason, you need to really get yourself some help and figure out why you're withholding sex from your spouse and get that nipped in the bud, because again, you did become their sole source of their sexual pleasure. Okay, I love you guys to pieces. I am here every single Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you would like this video sent to someone, but you don't want to be the one to send it to, do me a favor and click the link below, and I will have one of my team members do it on your behalf. I will see you next week.